Why has distorting history and hypocrisy become the order of the day in Nigeria today? If Chief MKO Abiola, the winner of the 1993 presidential election, can receive the highest national honor, that is the Grand Commander of the Federal Republic posthumously, 25 years later in 2018, courtesy of the former President Muhammadu Buhari, with his running mate, Ambassador Baba Gana Kingibe, conferred with the second highest national honor, which is also the Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, and the date of the election, June 12, 1993, declared a national holiday and democracy day. What's more about the architect of this day? There's this popular saying, I might not rightly stated the way it is, but in essence what it means is that you can't admire an edifice without acknowledging the person behind it, who is an architect, because we all know that the architect is in charge of constructing a building, from the planning, the drawing, the sketching of the house to the execution. So if you cannot appreciate the person who actually brought that particular design to life, why exactly are you now appreciating the edifice? Late Professor Humphrey Nwwosu is just someone who is a victim of hypocrisy, like high-handedness of hypocrisy in Nigeria. The late political scientist, whom is deserving of national recognition, and all his efforts have been relegated to the background for reasons best known to our Nigerian senators. And this leaves someone wondering, could it be that the reason why these people have kicked against this man, whom is of blessed memory with his ancestors right now, could it be that the reason they are denying him of this national recognition is because of some tribe-related factors, or there is something in their cupboard that they are hiding and they do not want Nigerians to know about? Because tell me, what is the fuse about nationally recognizing Professor Humphrey Nwwosu? I know some of you know who this man is, and some persons do not know who this man is. Regardless, I'm going to be telling you a little about Professor Humphrey Nwwosu and why his name has been on the lips of Nigerian senators in the very recent times. But before then, let me welcome you to another edition of the Kiwi Show. Thank you very much for joining us once again. Now, straight to what we've got for you today on the show. Alright, as I earlier said, I'm going to be starting off with first of all telling us briefly about the late Professor Humphrey Nwwosu. Now, the big question is, who is late Professor Humphrey Nwwosu? Late Professor Humphrey Nwwosu is a political scientist from Anambra State, and he was the former chairman of the defunct National Electoral Commission, that is NEC, from 1989 to 1999. He presided over the very famous 1993 presidential election. His courageous defense of the democratic electoral process during the 1993 elections led to the famous June 12 event, which ultimately confirmed MKO Abiola as the winner of the presidential election. Now, that presidential election, held 32 years ago, is generally regarded as Nigeria's freest and most credible election. Professor Nwwosu, as NEC chairman, oversaw the election using the innovative option A4 voting system, which ensured transparency. Now, he had begun announcing the election results before the military, that was the IBB regime, halted the process and later on annulled it. However, the winner of the election from the defunct SDP party, that is Moshood Abiola, was never installed after the military regime of IBB annulled the election. And also, we had a national turmoil and unrest because Nigerians had to hit the streets to go protest what they saw as the then military regime trying to overturn the success of that particular election. Professor Nwwosu's commitment to electoral integrity played a key role in establishing June 12 as Nigeria's official Democracy Day. Sadly, he passed away on October 20, 2024 at the age of 83 in US. 3 days to the burial of the late Professor Humphrey Nwwosu. His spirit resurrected in the hallowed chamber of the Senate as senators engaged in a war of words over the move to immortalize him. Now, during this war of words, we even saw the Southeast senators staging a walkout on the ongoing plenary session simply because what they were agitating for were never agreed upon. Now, that controversy started when former minority leader Senator Naya Abaribe from Abia State made moves to raise a point of order on the need to immortalize the late NEC boss by naming the INEC headquarters after him and to posthumously honor him with a national award. According to Abaribe, Humphrey Nwosu deserved to be immortalized like other heroes of the June 12th.
Defense of democratic electoral process during the 1993 presidential elections led to the famous June 12, which ultimately confirmed Alhaji MKO Abiola as the winner of the election.
Already we have the winner of the June 12th election and his deputy immortalized. Now, why is it that his own is different? So just as he asked the federal government to honor the late electoral umpire with a posthumous national honors, Abaribe's request was, however, rejected by other senators who said the deceased did not deserve to be immortalized.
Professor Humphrey Nwosu, with due respect to him, because it's now late, does not deserve to be immortalized.
Now, kicking against the move to immortalize the former NEC boss, Senator Adams Oshomole noted that the motion to him was nothing but an attempt to manipulate and rewrite history. Okay, I'm so sorry this way. I just have to take, that particular laugh, because how exactly are we trying to rewrite history with this? Meanwhile, we've seen these Nigerian leaders come up on several occasions to try to rewrite history. And how is late Humphrey Nwosu's being immortalized a way of rewriting history? So he went further to say that Professor Humphrey Nwosu, as NEC chairman in 1993, failed to deliver on the June 12, 1993 presidential election for lack of courage, simply because he did not come out to boldly announce who the winner of the election is. And for him, who was an activist at that point in time, he saw it as a cowardice move.
If Professor Nwosu had the courage, I emphasize courage, as is being suggested here, to announce the winner and damn the consequences, Professor Nwosu, when it mattered most, his courage failed him.
He saw it as someone who is a weakling. He saw it as unwise decision and someone who is not ready to face the consequences of whatever it's going to take to save his country from the then military regime. He even went further to say that if indeed Professor Humphrey Nwosu is courageous and he meant well for Nigerians, he would have gone ahead to announce the result, not minding that gun was pointed on his head or whatever is going to happen, even if it means his life being lost. He would have done it for the nation. Lo and behold, Professor Humphrey Nwosu approached the situation in a different way. Then we also saw another senator who said that he lost his brother due to the protest, that unfolded because of the inability of Professor Nwosu announcing the results. And because he lost his brother during that protest, for him, Professor Humphrey Nwosu is not deserving of that national recognition.
After all, he who is not ready to die for something will end up dying for nothing.
You want Tinubu to name structures after Nwosu, it will not happen.
I have one very important question to ask this senator. Was it Professor Humphrey Nwosu that sent your brother to go and protest? Was it the one that told him to carry a placard? I understand that a protest is a fundamental human right and it's even constitutional here in Nigeria. But blaming Professor Humphrey Nwosu for the death of your brother is something that I cannot even wrap my head around. So other senators had their own diverging views about this particular issue. And it was in the course of this whole back and forth that the Southeast senators, some of them who were present, staged a walkout on the ongoing plenary session, simply because some said that they can't sit and see Professor Humphrey Nwosu being talked down on, and also for the fact that Professor Humphrey Nwosu is now late, so he can't even come out to defend himself.
We said that even if it's not done today, that another government will do this.
The action of Professor Humphrey Nwosu not announcing this result has made some people to address him as a coward. But let's look at this matter. Let's look at this issue, how it unfolded during that time. Professor Humphrey Nwosu granted an interview with Omoyele Sowore under his platform, the Sahara Reporters. And in that video clip, we saw him explain what actually happened and how he did not come out to announce, okay, this person is the winner winner of this election. But if it's about it being known who the winner is, it is, because he made it very public even while he was collating the results. So from the results already, before he got the last result from Taraba State, Nigerians already knew who won the election.
June 13, 14. In fact, it was to be concluded around June 17, 8. And I was seeing had even congratulated SDP for winning. Suddenly, there was a letter served on me by Commissioner of Police that we should cease forthwith in releasing the result. Emergency meeting of the commission. All the results had come in with the exception of that of Taraba, which the resident electoral commissioner from Delta, Professor Sada, was on his way to bring. We would have released the result about June 17. So they said, stop. I was served. In fact, I was called in a meeting of National Defense and Security Council. Would you release this result without knowing? I said, that's the law. There was no provision of the National Defense Security and Defense Council.
Headed by Babangida.
Babangida and Abacha was prominent. They said, okay, that a committee headed by Abacha to find a solution to the problem. Nyako was in it, General Aliyu Gusso was in it, David Mark was in it, was the Minister of Communication.
And according to Professor Humphrey Nwosu, while they were collating the results, he got an order from the Commissioner of Police. The Commissioner of Police issued a notice of order, and there was also a court injunction that stopped Professor Nwosu from coming out to announce who won the election. However, results were already made public, and it was through that the Nigerians knew who exactly won the election, and it was MKO Abiola. So years after, like I said before, he granted a media interview telling Nigerians what actually happened and why he did not announce that election. He even went further to write a book about the 1993 election, giving Nigerians a detailed history of what happened and how everything was overturned by the then military government. Now, Nigerians are big hypocrites. Some, not all. Why did I say this? So IBB in this same 2025, who officially announced the annulment of the election in a national broadcast on June 24, 1993, came out to launch an autobiography titled A Journey in a Service. And in that memo, we saw that he claimed that the annulment was orchestrated by the late military ruler Sani Abacha, who was then the chief of defense staff, which is even still very laughable at this point, because it's like the president telling us that he is going to be on seat and his vice would come and make a very heavy decision like that of the 1993 election. So the former Nigerian leader insisted that he never authorized the annulment and acknowledged the election as credible. I think this answers the question that we are all looking for, particularly the Nigerian senators. If IBB can come out to attest that truly the 1993 election was free, fair, and credible, why then is Professor Humphrey Nwosu denied of the national honor? And the big question still remains, why is the man who made this possible not recognized? The people who attended the book launch of IBB went further to even donate the sum of 17.5 billion naira for him to go and continue with his project of the presidential library. Now, the man who made all this thing possible is being denied that national recognition. And this is where that hypocrisy comes in. This is where that the seats from our senator comes in. What exactly is the color of their problem? Why are they denying this man of his national honor? And if you notice, in a very recent time, it's like Nigeria, yes, we say that Nigeria is one, we are one, but when it comes to a particular tribe, there seems to be some sort of exception how things are done. I don't know if it's because of where Professor Humphrey Nwosu is coming from, because I know if he is from a different tribe, this is not going to be the situation right now. Best believe that he would have long ago gotten the national recognition recognition. He did not get it when he was alive, and now that he's dead, it's still very difficult for the Nigerian government to award him this well-deserving recognition. I don't know if it's because of his tribe. I still have to, pinpoint on this again. Now look at the case of Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu is a Biafra agitator, and we have other persons who have come to agitate for one or two things in the country. Till this very moment, Nnamdi Kanu is still unlawfully held by the federal government, even after the court has said that this detention is unlawful and this man should be allowed to go and have his freedom. But the Nigerian government has decided, no, we're not going to allow this man to have his way. So I think there is a problem with the Nigerian government and just allowing the Igbo people to exist like every other tribe in this country. Recently, we see the killings that happened in Edo State. And before you knew what was happening, they've twisted the situation. The Igbos were eloped in it. How is Uromi in Edo State, a place in the eastern region, that the Hausas were pushing a narrative that, oh, they should not worry, we are going to go after the Igbos in the northern states? Is it the Igbos that actually dwell in this area, or is the Edo indigene? So you would see that the Nigerian government and Nigeria as a nation, it's really unfair to the Igbo nation, because this thing that the senators have done, it has not only dented the image of late Professor Humphrey Nwosù, it has even gone as far as denting the image of the Igbo nation as a whole. And this is a time also for the Nigerian leaders, not the Nigerian leaders, but the Igbo leaders, to arise to the occasion and take charge. Yes, the Nigerian government has refused to recognize Professor Humphrey Nwosù. Now, this is the time that the Igbo leaders are expected to act promptly. What should they do? We have libraries. They should invest in writing books, writing histories, giving accurate account of what the Igbos have done, what exactly they have not done, and make sure that this thing is made public to people. It's out there in the public domain, so people can actually see that truly this is what the Igbos have done. This is their own quota to when it comes to national unity, to when it comes to building the nation. So it shouldn't be as if the Igbos are always on the wrong end of things. And then if the federal government has also refused to give this man this well-deserved award, they can go ahead and do it on their own. There are foundations that they could actually name after him. There are places, there are streets, there are monuments that they can name after late Humphrey Nwosù. So it won't look like if this man is denied, he is denied at national level, he would also be denied at state level. So whatever it is that the federal government has refused to do, the state government has the powers to do so, and also the opportunity to do that, and let people know that this is what it is when it comes to the Igbos contributing to the growth of this nation. Hopefully one day our senators are going to tell themselves the real truth, and in the course of telling themselves the real truth, they are going to give this man what is rightfully his, because it still doesn't make sense why you are going to honor the winner of the election and his deputy, and then you deny the man who made this election to be free and fair the opportunity to also be honored. This is Nigeria. Anything can fly. If you think that nothing can actually fly, just come to Nigeria where you can see anything flying. What do you think about this? Do you think that Professor Humphrey Nwosù deserves the national honor? Do you think that he doesn't deserve the national honor? Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. This is how we're going to be wrapping it up on today's edition of the show. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Rochelle, and do not forget to click the subscribe button. See you some other time. Bye.